quick movie review here of Somebody Like You. That's what it's called. Phantom Film Events. So it's like, with the Phantom Film Events are usually kind of Christian movies, right? Or they have like a special message too. That's another thing. They have the theme of being from Christian background, right? And then in the movie, they also have like the special message that they'll put in the end of the movie. But this film was it was okay. It wasn't bad. It's kind of funny, the whole how the love story goes, I guess. Well, because he likes her, but they're just friends, and I don't think, maybe he does explain why they're just friends. But yeah, they're just friends. But then, and when they have the day where they're like, she broke up with this guy, and he's presumably single. He's got nobody at the moment in his life, and they're gonna go. I think he tells her, like, or she tells him, "Hey, if you're paying for parking, consider it a date." Right? That's what she says to him with the whole ice cream thing, because they were over at the lake where they were just walking, and they were talking about religion, I think, does she still believe in stuff. And she says, "Oh, I want to take you somewhere. I want to take you to some place." And then we get a montage of them driving. So presumably they drove like really far. They drove like a pretty far place, I guess. Because then when we get they go to downtown. Was the goal to go to ice creams? Because I think she says, "Oh, we passed by this ice cream place with stop," like as in like with stop and investigate. But that's not the final destination. I don't know. It was funny. But then she gets hit by a car and she dies. And so, obviously he's like sad. And then, so the mom says like, "Oh, she was like made in a lab. Like she was I guess it was one of her embryos that was taken out, and did some tweaking to it. They couldn't conceive naturally, basically, right? So they needed help, IVF type thing, whatever it's called. They mentioned in the film what's it called, and when he mentions like what kind of baby London was, right, to one of the London's friend's husband, he like knows the word right off the top of his head. It's I thought that was kind of funny, right? He knows like right off the top of his head. Oh, I know what you're referring to. But yeah, right. So he finds out like because of London's mom, and they never told London. So London died not knowing that she was like not conceived naturally, or like I guess like not like they had trouble conceiving. Like she was born numb. She died not knowing that she even had a sister out there, right? That she has a sister named Andy Allen, right? The Allens, because she's London Quinn, and then she's Andy Allen, the other one. And they actually look exactly alike, so they're like twins. I think she has a wig, right? London's got a wig, blonde wig, and the other girl, I guess, just has her natural hair. She just rocks her natural hair, which is like a kind of a brunette, right? And so, what was I thinking in my head? He falls in love with her. So it's kind of sad, right? Because she has a boyfriend already, and presumably they've been together for quite some time, because he wants to propose to her, and even shows dad the ring. So like the dad's aware, like, "Oh wow, he even gonna like propose to you, holy shit." His name's Matt. And how do you call, but the relationship just fizzles out because she falls in love with Dawson Gage or something like that. I think that's his name, actually, Dawson Gage. It feels like a Hallmark movie. It does. A Hallmark or Amazon Prime or a Lifetime movie. Definitely has that feel. Like it feels independent, I guess, in that regard. Like it's obviously not like a big budget film. I mean, even before the movie starts, the author actually comes out. I think she said, "We even started a company to make this movie, and it's the first movie under the company. It's called Karen King." Oh my gosh, King something. Yeah, it's Karen King something Productions. And maybe I'll remember the name later. But yeah, this is her first, because it's her book, actually. It's actually her book, and so it's her movie. And so yeah, she makes this movie, and fucking what do you call? It's it's an okay movie. I guess she's Christian. I guess the book good. It's not preachy though. It's not preachy with the Christian stuff. But I like that it's but it's made known, that God's involved with it, right? The word of God and stuff. And so it's like, but I like that. So I appreciate that. It's not preachy with the Christian stuff, and I didn't get any like it's trying to give me a message of like you need to be like this, you know, you need to believe and stuff. The way the movie plays out is kind of funny, right? Because and Andy Allen, she has a good life. She has a good home life. The family's real good, and but then when she finds out that she's and I guess she's got a point, right? Because they said they're gonna tell her at 12 years of age, and then they said they're gonna tell her 18. Now she's 24. I think she just turned 24, right? She just turned 24, and then she gets told. Actually, she finds out from Gage because Gage actually approaches her at her job because she just got hired like the zoo, and he approaches her and he's like talks to her about like her adoption and shit. And obviously she doesn't know about it, so it was, you know, I guess the way that she finds out is quite upsetting. Oh wow, I'm adopted. You're not my real fucking like parents and shit. Oh my god, this is like not, I don't like this news. This is kind of like upsetting news to me. um yeah, so that happens, right, with her and shit. And so yeah, she's upset about it, right? And it makes sense, right? She's be a little upset with that whole like, wow, this is how it's happening, like I'm fucking adopted and shit. um so she leaves the family and she wants to go meet them, which is fine, but she completely abandons her other family. And I guess it's kind of like, wow, oh my god. And she, because she even says to dad like, I don't even know you people, I don't even know you. And how do you call you know, she says that to them, and it just sort of feels rude. Like, like, what do you mean you don't know who I am? Like, you literally live with me like 24 years of your life. Oh my god. I like that when she before she leaves the house, she says to her sister that she, you know, she loves her and you'll always be my sister, right? But before that, when she find out, like, oh my god, you know, whatever the fuck her sister's name was, like Anna, it wasn't my real sister. Oh my god. I think her name was Anna, actually. I think it was Anna and Andy, right? She's like, holy shit. And because she learns that Anna is biological, so she is their biological daughter, and then she is the embryo that was put inside. So she did, like, her mom gave birth to her, but it wasn't her embryo, right? So she's not, doesn't have her genetic makeup, her genetic imprint, right? I guess. It's I mean, it can be quite shocking, right? It has to be, right? For someone that, you know, I grew up thinking that you guys were like, we were blood related, and then I find out, oh, I'm adopted. I'm actually not blood related to you. Um, yeah, I can imagine it'd be quite traumatic, would it? Upsetting, and so maybe that's why she just had to take that journey and go with the family. And then, but I like how she gets really integrated into this. So at first, you know, it's like, okay, you know, this is nice, we're meeting you for the first time, but then you can kind of get the vibe of like, but what happens after this? Like, after we meet you and it's all fun and cuddly games, like, what happens afterwards? Like, are we just gonna continue to, you gonna live here, you move here now? And she, like, even starts working at the coffee shop that London's mom owns. And she, like I said, she falls in love with Dawson, which I guess, I want to say London probably have feelings for Dawson too, I think, because when she's the one that said, like, oh, count it as a date, right? You know, we're on a date, right? When they're at the lake scene, they look at each other and it looks like they wanted to kiss, right? Like, there was kind of the you can feel the vibe of like, you know, I think I want to kiss you, right? So I think of a mom says this. London's mom says to Andy, right? She said, I don't think London knew how Dawson loved her, right? That maybe Andy wasn't aware that Dawson loved her for more than, it was something along those lines, like how she said, I don't think Andy knew like how Dawson loved her, or how much he loved her, something like that. I don't quite remember how it goes, but, and so yeah, that happens, right? That's kind of she breaks up with Matt, and she tells Matt, like, I don't think, maybe we're just meant to be just friends, you know, we're not meant to be a married couple. And it's kind of sad because then what's said afterwards, you know, Matt says to Andy, yeah, I can't just be your friend though, right? Like, I genuinely had feelings for you, but she doesn't feel the same way. And so that was sad, right? That was a sad scene. But But she makes amends with her family, at least. That was nice when she makes amends with her family. And she tells them, like, hey, I'm going to visit you guys. So I guess now she has two families, I guess. You know, she's kind of playing like a good game here. I got two families, actually. I got my biological family that I just reunited with. And I got my old family that, you know, I'm still going to be there with them and stuff. And then Dawson wins at the end, too. Because, like, she looks just like, literally, it's a twin. She looks just like London. But he tells her, like, I was in love with London, this is true, but like, and I saw her in you, but as I got to know you, I fell in love with Annie, right? Fell in love with Andy, and I'm not in love with Hannah still, like, I'm in love with you. And he wins her at the end, right? He visits her at the zoo, and she's like, oh, what are you doing here? You know, because, like, you know, obviously I had to move back down. Because he said he lives in Birmingham, and then she's in Nashville, and he says, like, oh, I told my boss, like, you know, I got to be in Nashville now for a very important reason. And so, yeah, I guess it's a happy ending for them, right? Because now, like, oh, they're together, and he lives in Nashville with her, too. She don't have to move. She used to work at the zoo, and, like, yeah. It's an okay movie. It's kind of funny. I felt like... So, like, the lead up to the meeting, right? We had the lead up to, like, meeting the step parents. And then after we meet them, I guess there's sort of like, okay, well, what happens now? Because you met them already. That was kind of like a catalyst. Not a catalyst. But it's like a hill to get on, right? And you meet them. And it's like, okay, well, what happens now that you met them? I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's, yeah, Someone Like You, I'll give it I guess 2 stars. It's okay. It's definitely a movie that, like, you know, I mean, it's a Phantom event. I guess Phantom gets good shown in theaters. It's like, you can show shitty movies in theaters, right? Shitty movies don't have to be just streaming only. You can put them in theaters and put it a Phantom event and put a special message. I didn't stay for the special message, but I guess it maybe was something of, like, to do with the Lord and stuff. Because that movie overall, I had the theme of, I guess that's why Dawson didn't go fully for London, because she lost her way with the Lord, and he's a man of God. And when she even jokes about, you know, going to church, he tells her, like, oh, it's not funny for me, right? So he's serious about his, you know, he takes his values seriously, which is good, right? That's a good thing. He holds himself up to his values. Yeah, it's an okay movie.